Okay, so picture this. You're at a book launch in London. The room's packed, the publisher's on stage, the editor's there, but the authors, all 25 of them, are missing. They can't be there, they can't sign any books, they don't even know this is happening. Why? Because every single one of them is in prison. This is the incredible story behind Imprisoned Souls, an anthology of Uyghur poetry, and the fight to keep these voices from being erased.
You know, this line was spoken at that launch, and it just perfectly captures what's at stake here. This isn't just about publishing a book, it's about a battle for the very soul of a culture. A place where the simple act of writing a poem about love or homeland can be twisted into a crime.
So how does a book like this even happen? I mean, how do you get these poems out? It all starts with a mission, one driven by a really determined publisher and a deeply committed editor. Their journey pretty much tells you everything you need to know about why this book is so urgent. Now, what's with this number, 0? Well, that's how many books from Central Asia the publisher, a man named Marat Akijana, could find in any London bookshop back in 2004. 0. That discovery kicked off a 2-decade mission for him to give these voices a platform, a mission that led to this incredibly important and incredibly difficult publication.
For the editor, Aziz Issa Elkin, this whole thing was, well, it was deeply personal. He was watching his friends, his colleagues, his fellow poets just disappear into China's prison system. He said he felt this overwhelming responsibility, He just knew that their work could not be lost to silence. It became his personal quest to make sure their voices could still be heard.
And look, this wasn't some simple editing job. This was a 5-year emotional and investigative marathon. The editor had to literally piece together these poems from fragments he found online, from old magazines, all while facing a total information blackout from the state. And during all this, he's dealing with immense personal pressure. I mean, he lost all contact with his family and even learned that his own father's grave had been destroyed. It's just unbelievable.
All of this incredible effort, it really raises a huge question. Why was any of this necessary? Why were these poets, these people whose work is now saved in this book, imprisoned in the first place? What exactly was their crime?
Well, as the speakers at the book launch explained, their supposed crime wasn't what you'd think. It wasn't really sedition or political opposition. In fact, if you read the poems, most of them aren't political at all. The reality is actually far more chilling. And this slide just lays out the disconnect so perfectly. On one side, you have the actual words in the poems. They're about these universal human things, right? Love, nature, suffering, hope. Then on the other side, you have the official state charges, separatism, extremism, terrorism. Culture itself, the very act of expressing yourself, was turned into evidence of a crime. According to everyone involved, this wasn't random. It was a precise, systematic campaign. The goal was to arrest Uyghur thought itself. By targeting the poets, the professors, the intellectuals, what they called the leading voices, the aim was to sever the language from its people and basically try to erase a culture's memory.
To really get the human cost of all this, let's just zoom in on one of the 25 poets. Her story really makes this abstract tragedy painfully real, and it also shows the incredible resilience of the human spirit.
Her name is Gulnisa Emin. She was a literature teacher, a mother of 2 kids, and a poet. She was known for her incredible skill, her intelligence, and her deep, deep connection to her culture's literary tradition.
In 2018, she was arrested. She was eventually sentenced to 17.5 years in prison. The charge? Separatism. A charge that was applied directly to the poems she had written. And just like that, she was gone, leaving 2 children behind.
But her voice wasn't completely silenced. In what is just an unbelievable act of defiance, one of her poems, a piece called Nameless, was somehow smuggled out of the prison. It got shared all across Uyghur social media. It was like a message in a bottle, sent from a soul in chains.
In the poem, she's speaking directly to her people, to anyone who will listen, and she starts with this plea for them not to grieve for her.
She asks them not to wear themselves out trying to find her, but to instead just hold on to their strength. And then you get these final, heartbreaking lines. She holds on to this little flicker of hope that she might return, but then she entrusts her 2 children, her 2 stars, to the care of others, asking the world to shower them with love. The story of Gulnisa Emin and her smuggled poem, it brings us to this final, really crucial point that was made at the launch. What is our role in all of this? What does it actually mean for us to hold this book, to read these words? Well, it brings us to this powerful idea they talked about, bearing witness. The point is, reading these poems isn't a passive thing. It's an active, ethical choice. It's a choice to listen, to protect the memory of people who have been silenced, and to refuse to be complicit in that silence.
And this is why that act matters so much. As you go through the book, the short biography for poet after poet ends with this exact same chilling sentence. We just don't know where they are. We don't know what's happened to them. Reading their words is an act of remembering their humanity in the face of this void.
And as the publisher explained it, breaking that silence, that's something we do together. One person reads a poem. They tell 10 friends about it. Those 10 tell 100. Each time the story is shared, each conversation, it amplifies a voice that was meant to be extinguished. It proves that even from inside a prison cell, a voice can still reach the world.
Which really leaves us with this final thought. In a world where writing a poem about love can get you a 17-year prison sentence, we're really forced to think about the true power of language. Because if a government is that afraid of a poem, well, that tells you everything you need to know about the incredible, enduring power of a single word.